My buddy Tyler just started a brand new tank and I'm super excited to show you that, plus an update on his coastal reef tank. Let's go. What's up, coral people? If you're new here, my name is Remy and this is the Bahama Llama Coral YouTube channel. I make reef related videos every single week, so please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know whenever I upload new videos. Thought I would try this out, so I've got my old camera right here and the new camera right here. This is in full auto here. This is the Sony a6600, but we'll do the tried and true Canon 7D while I figured this out. But I wanted to say thank you so much because this camera is awesome and I cannot wait to learn it. So we have a solid reefing community here in St. Louis, and I've highlighted many different reefers and a couple different local fish stores in the area this year. Tyler is one of my good friends in the hobby, and you may know him as inland_reef on Instagram. He has embraced the lost art of collecting oddball coral, growing macro algae, and using white light. I know, that's weird. He also started a brand new tank and has an awesome vision for it. I won't waste any more time up front, so let's head on over to Tyler's house and we'll check out his new tank. All right, we're back at Tyler's apartment. Say hi, Tyler.
How's it going?
I think everybody's excited to see what's over here. Which one is this?
That is Uma. That is our first cat. She's about a year old.
So we were here, what, 2 months ago I was here, and this tank looks different again. It is like insanely filled in.
I mean, like I said, macros, if you want to fill a tank in, macros will fill in all of the excess room that you have in a tank.
Or just get a giant toadstool like this. Jesus.
Yeah, I still have yet to like get the urge to cut it yet. It just looks fantastic. Yeah, it's every bit of like 10 or 12 inches across.
Blue hypnea is growing out of control.
So it can get some iridescence capabilities. So you might have like blue under blue lights, purplish under purple. You can kind of see there's some chunks that'll have that iridescent look to it. Definitely needs a trimming. I don't know if you remember the dragon's breath wasn't as vibrant as it was. Now it's like really come in, and you can see the purple or the orange tips of the dragon's breath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of muted at first, but now I don't know, it just took off and it's like crazy vibrant.
Everything is just growing like crazy.
Yeah, I really do need to get in there and trim some, but it just looks so natural that I just let it grow in. Actually, there's a really cool one I just got. This right here. It's a red fern macro. It's a kind of a harder, like calcium-based macro, but it kind of shapes like a fern tree. So we'll see how it grows. I don't know. I've had friends say that it melts off, needs higher light, higher flow, kind of like an SPS sort of. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah, tell us about this guy.
Yeah, so this right here is a Chicago sunburst anemone. It's sitting in this cup right now because it'll actually be going in the new tank, which it looks fantastic under full spectrum. It'll probably pop like crazy under the new lights, but yep, I got that from, it's a wholesaler up in Chicago. And so when I went up to go pick up the new tank, you know, I've made friends with them up there, and they're right actually across from the company that makes these tanks. And so worked out a deal with them and picked me up one of these crazy cool anemones.
I would almost say don't prune it. I like it like this.
Yeah. I mean, if you look, your weeping willow's right here. It's like tucked in.
Oh yeah.
Sort of like trying to survive.
It's no match for that big giant toad.
Yeah, that thing is... Some days it'll actually curl up and be more like conical shape. Some days it just kind of presses against the glass and doesn't really move.
All right, so this tank looks great, but you have installed a brand new tank that is almost, well, it is the exact same tank and stand, but there's some fun features. So.
That's right.
All right, here you go. Sweetness. All right, so take me through this build.
So I remember back in the day when we first started with the original build, this was just essentially a fish bowl. There was no sump, no filtration underneath. It was just everything in here. Well, I went back to the company and said, I really want to do this cool idea, but I think a sump is the way to go. So we actually drilled this tank. So it is, you know, it's now reef ready. It's drilled with one of the eShop medium overflows. I hard plumbed everything, so it has black hard plumbing and unions on the outside. We actually drilled through the concrete stand with bulkheads, so that way it's super nice and clean. So there's bulkheads that are actually separating the outside and the inside of the sump. And then underneath, we have the SR Aquaristic 150.
Oh.
They're 15-gallon sump. And then we have their 1,500 gallon per hour DC controllable return pump.
Let's see all these little candies you got down here.
Yeah.
So up above, we don't have a whole lot of livestock, but when you get down here, it's like all of these amazing shrooms. I see Sunkissed, Interstellar maybe.
St. Thomas, there's a PC Godspawn that I just got. There is a Neptune bounce in there.
You got Zoas.
I do have some Zoas. I have some cool ones. I have a few. I have a couple of my favorites are on that right frag rack right over there.
Yeah, those are cool.
So the whole point is, I think if you remember in the last videos, I had 2 Petco tanks sitting against this wall originally.
Yep.
And I kind of said, you know what? It's time to get rid of the Petco tanks. It's time to move on and do something kind of that fits in more with the style of the room. But I also didn't want to lose the aspect of having a frag tank, because, you know, we do some frag swaps, you know, a couple times a year. And I want to have something where I could grow out some stuff, be able to sell things, and just keep things that I don't really particularly want in my displays, but also still be able to, you know, collect some eye candy. And so that right there is my little my candy shop.
That's cool. So, and this block, what do you know what the brand this block is?
It's a marine pier. It's just a marine pier. It's an 8x8 by 4 inch. Because I mean, if you look at the tank, there's not very much rock work in there. I wanted to add some more, you know, biological filtration in the sump to, you know, counterbalance the amount of limited rock work I have above. But I do that as a purpose because I'd rather have the corals that will end up going in this tank be the highlight versus having so much rock work that you know, it just becomes a tank of rocks.
All right, so take me through the display and like what you're planning on doing here.
Okay, so everyone who knows me, I've never been one to do sticks, but I guess it's time in my reefing career to try SPS. I've been really seeing these like fantastic, you know, minimalistic SPS dominated tanks, and I don't know, they just look really cool. So I thought, why not try one myself? So I set up this kind of minimal scape, and I'm gonna attempt to keep some SPS. I actually did a little Black Friday shopping and already picked myself up a few of them. That's my three-eyed conch. I don't know if you saw the pictures, but it actually has 3 eyes. So kind of fits in with this oddity of a tank. Because my clownfish is actually named Jon Snow, the snowflake clownfish. So I guess we have Bran right there as the conch.
What is this a sponge of some sort?
Yeah, it's kind of, I think they're called like lace sponges, or like, I forget what kind of sponge they're called. They're really cool because usually when they come in from the Florida Key area, the Gulf, and they usually come in with porcelain crabs. So there's actually like a bunch of little tiny porcelain crabs hidden in there, and you can kind of see them fanning. I don't know if you'll be able to pick them up. They're like millimeter size.
Do not see any offhand. And then tell me why you went with T5s here.
So, you know, I went back and forth like a lot between LEDs and T5s. Every SPS tank that I saw that, you know, just has incredible growth had T5s as their main source of light. Now I'm looking to supplement with some LED bars. Jim Telegram has done some great, you know, breakdowns of LED light bars, and I'm looking at going with the Ally Express, where I can customize them and do 420, 450, and 470 nanometer LEDs and put those on the front and back to get some more pop and par. But, you know, I went for the coverage. This tank is about 40 inches long, so a 36-inch unit. For the price, I can tune the bulbs to the color spectrum that I like, and it just seems to grow corals. Everyone I've talked to who's used T5s, grows SPS like weeds. So as someone who wants to grow SPS like weeds, I thought, why not give it a shot?
So what are bulbs they're using here?
So currently it's 2 Blue Plus, 2 Actinic, and 2 of the Giesman 6500 Kelvin.
Okay.
So a little bit more of a wider spectrum than most people are used to, but if you know me, I like macros, so there will be some macros in this tank. So I thought adding a little bit more of that 6500 Kelvin light would help stimulate some of that macroalgae growth.
And then something you don't see in saltwater tanks a lot is the backlit LED. So what was your reasoning behind that?
So I guess here, let me turn off the LED first.
Yeah.
So this actually really helps with keeping the bulb kind of coloration nice, as well as adding that LED light bar can add some more depth of field within my scape. This isn't a super wide tank, it's only like 16 inches wide. So by adding that kind of depth of field behind it, it's more of like a freshwater aquascaper's tool. You can kind of keep that aspect of making it look really natural.
Can you do sunset on the reef?
Yes, I can.
Oh.
So you get like that nice orangey purplish hue.
It looks like the sunset is happening inside of your tank.
Correct.
And is this an Amazon light?
It is. It is a little Amazon light. Just a little like cheap underwater backlight LED. Nothing fancy to it. I think it was like 20 bucks.
I just feel like with your tanks and with some of the tanks that I've been seeing on Instagram lately, I feel like the art piece of this is coming into play a lot. It's not just rocks anymore. You know, it's not just piles of rocks on top of each other. You've obviously planned this tank out for the next 6 months to a year already and don't even have coral in it yet.
Yeah, I don't think the main display will see coral till next year. Everything that I've talked to with people who've kept SPS, and to be honest, my SPS guru right now is Ken from 7 Feet of Reef. I don't know if you've seen his. I mean, that guy, it was actually what inspired Ben, our friend Ben's kind of L tank. He was the one who did that, and I've been chatting with him, and he grows some crazy SPS, and he told me, just take it slow. You don't, you know, you're gonna get uglies in the tank, and the worst thing you want to do is put corals in there and have them deal with everything else that's going on. You're just causing more stress to them. So yeah, you know, kind of setting this up for the future. It's a long road, so might as well take our time.
Well, thank you for having us over, and we'll definitely have to check in with you next year.
Absolutely.
It's nice to see Tyler really putting thought into the livestock choices and the aquascape. We see a lot of freshwater planted tanks like this where it's very well thought out. The plants are carefully chosen, and I feel like a lot of us reefers, including myself, just kind of buy corals because we think it looks cool or it fluoresces really nicely, and then we decide after we buy it what we're gonna do with it. To each their own, whatever makes you happy. Trust me, the lagoon was just gonna be leathers, and now it's just a mixed reef like everything else. But if you're starting a new tank, it never hurts to know where you want to go or where you are going, and to prepare for that via the aquascape and some of your livestock choices in the beginning. I want to thank Tyler for allowing me to come over and do an update on his tanks. Also, if you have any questions for Tyler, he is on YouTube as well, so he'll comment below and answer any questions that you may have specifically for him. If you want to check him out on Instagram, his handle is @inland_reef. Oh, and be on the lookout for another unboxing video. So I've talked to Scott Crow, and he said that he was gonna package up some fire and send it this way, so cannot wait for that. And if you supported a local fish store this past weekend for Black Friday or Small Business Saturday or even Cyber Monday, kudos to you. I know a lot of people swung by Ocean State Aquatics and got some great deals, and those are the kinds of things that help keep our local fish stores alive. Hey, if you liked today's video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you're notified whenever I upload new videos. This camera seems a little bit more crispy. I think I'm gonna like this one a lot. Look at you. You're like half the size of this guy. I pulled this out of the box and I was like, this is it? Okay. Anyways, stay safe, and I'll see you next week for another video.